You can turn a superfood into candy simply by raising the temperature a few dozen degrees Celsius. No added sugar, no added milk, just heat, around 150 degrees Celsius, about 50 degrees hotter than boiling water. Hot enough to make you pull your hand away in less than a second lies the boundary where a raw cacao bean, bitter and packed with antioxidants, begins transforming into what we comfortably recognize as that classic chocolate flavor. It feels like a plot twist. Cacao and cocoa are often thought to be two entirely different things. In reality, they're more like two versions of the same character before and after a major life event. One was once introspective, sharp-edged, a little hard to approach, and later became smoother, more agreeable, widely loved. That life event is called temperature. The story begins with a small seed buried inside the fruit of Theobroma cacao, a name that sounds like Greek mythology. And fittingly so. Theobroma means food of the gods. But those gods appreciated it very differently than we do. They didn't roast it. Imagine holding a raw cacao bean in your hand. It doesn't smell like the chocolate you're used to. Its taste is sharply bitter, slightly acidic. And if you chew carefully, you might notice a faint fermented fruit note. That's because inside the bean are hundreds of polyphenol compounds, especially flavonoids. Flavonoids are powerful antioxidant molecules. To picture them easily, think of them as microscopic bodyguards protecting your cells from oxidation, a process that gradually contributes to aging. If your body were a freshly sliced apple, oxidation would be what turns it brown. Flavonoids are like a splash of lemon juice that slows that browning down. In raw cacao, flavonoid levels can be 2 to 3 times higher than in roasted cocoa. That number isn't just a statistic on paper. It's like having 3 teams of bodyguards instead of 1. The problem is, those bodyguards taste extremely unpleasant. And this is where heat enters the scene. When cacao beans are roasted at roughly 120–150 degrees Celsius, a cascade of chemical reactions begins. Most notably, the Maillard reaction, the same reaction that happens when you toast bread or sear a steak. Sugars and proteins interact, generating hundreds of new aromatic compounds. The chocolate aroma you love? It's born there. But what's the cost? High temperatures significantly reduce flavonoid content. Some studies suggest that up to 60% of antioxidants can be lost during roasting and alkalization. 60%. Imagine having 10 bills in your wallet and someone calmly removing 6 before you even notice. You still have money, but not like before. So raw cacao bitter, demanding. Nutrient-dense becomes cocoa fragrant. Smooth, easily dissolvable, and embraced worldwide. A very logical trade-off. But wait, if raw cacao retains more nutrients, why don't we just keep it that way? The answer isn't in a laboratory. It's in your oven. Raw cacao is more acidic than processed cocoa. Its pH can fall below 6, while Dutch processed cocoa is pushed closer to neutral. pH may sound abstract, but consider this. Baking soda needs an acidic environment to react and release carbon dioxide gas. That gas is what makes your cake rise. If the acidity is off balance,
after roasting,
the reaction falters.
Clear.
Your
While
brownies
vitamin
might
C
turn
levels
dense
may
and
drop
heavy,
slightly.
closer to a damp brick
Fat-soluble
than a
nutrients
dessert.
like
No one wants to bite into a brick, no matter how rich it is in flavonoids. There's more. Raw cacao doesn't dissolve well in hot water. Try making hot chocolate with purely unroasted cacao powder.
Given
What
its
you'll
nutritional
likely get
benefits,
is a
why
murky
is it
brown
that
liquid,
raw, unprocessed cacao
slightly gritty,
isn't always the preferred choice
with a
in
faint
professional
fermented
kitchens?
tang. Comforting? Not quite. So humans chose to burn away part of the nutritional value in exchange for a more pleasant, consistent sensory experience. We reformatted the cacao bean's nutritional hard drive, deleting some data so the system would run more smoothly. Because we don't eat with logic alone, we eat with memory, with emotion, with the smell drifting through the kitchen at 8 p.m. So, is 150 degrees Celsius the villain? Not exactly. It's more like a strict editor. It trims the complex passages and keeps what's accessible. It turns a difficult manuscript into a bestseller. Raw cacao may hold more antioxidants. Roasted cocoa may hold fewer. But cocoa built a chocolate industry worth hundreds of billions of dollars each year. That number is so large that, if converted into cash, it could fill an entire stadium with thin stacks of paper. A few dozen degrees Celsius opened the door to an entire culinary culture. So the real question isn't, which one is better? The real question is, what are you looking for? If your goal is to maximize flavonoids, raw cacao might be worth exploring. But if you want a soft cake that melts gently on your tongue, cocoa-shaped and refined by fire will do the job far better. Sometimes progress isn't about keeping everything. It's about accepting the loss of one thing to create another. And the next time you stand in a grocery aisle, hesitating between two nearly identical bags labeled cacao and cocoa, remember, you're not just choosing a product, you're choosing a small philosophy about temperature, about trade-offs, about the way humans use fire to redefine flavor. And if you're curious what would happen if we applied this 150 degrees Celsius logic to other foods, coffee, cashews, even bread, then we should continue the conversation about how heat transforms ingredients in ways even more dramatic. Because sometimes, the line between superfood and favorite indulgence is nothing more than a single twist of an oven dial.